Hey, Jimbo, you ready for this deal?
Nod and ride, Cody.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, friends and neighbors. Time once again for the Cowboys of the Osage podcast with your host, Jimbo Snively and Cody Garnett. Now let's sing a little bit about it. Cowboys of the Osage, riding once again. Always got some time for a friend. And here they are, the Cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, brought to you by the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum and the Buck and Flamingo Turquoise Shop, both located in historic downtown Pawhuska, Oklahoma. And hey, don't forget about our old buddies, Shorty's Cowboy Hattery over there in the Oklahoma City Stockyards. She makes a heck of a good hat and a good lady to deal with.
You can get you one like Trisha Aldridge wore at the finals.
Yeah, she made Trisha's, didn't she?
Yes, she sure did.
Hey everyone, it's old Cody here, and as always, I have my main man with me, Mr. Rodeo Historian himself, Jimbo Snively. Morning, Jimbo. Who are we talking to today?
Hey, Cody, boy, it's a great day in Osage, man. And Cody, you know we've always got the world's champions, and we've got the 1992 world's champion bull rider, Cody Custer. He's an 8 times NFR bull rider, 9 times to the PBR finals. He's won about every Salinas, Cheyenne, Pendleton, all the big ones, naturally. He's in all the Hall of Fames. And he's one of the founders of the PBR. And we're just tickled to have him coming to us all the way from Arizona this morning.
All right.
And Cody, welcome to the Cowboys of the Osage podcast.
Hey, good morning. Glad to be here.
Well, we're tickled to death to have you, man.
You betcha.
Go ahead, Cody.
I was asking what he's doing all the way out in Arizona, and you're going to ask him what the weather was.
I was going to ask you what the weather was out there.
Well, the weather's always nice out here.
I know.
My mom here. I grew up out here in Wickenburg, and my mom lives just north of Wickenburg. So I spent a lot of time out here the last 7 years. Well, probably the last 8 or 9, 10 years. But since my dad passed away 7 years ago, and so I spent a lot of time out here with mom. Just try to spend a lot of time here between my kids and my grandkids, and then my mom. I got a little pattern that I live in Texas. My kids and grandkids live in Oklahoma. My mom lives in Arizona, so I got a little triangle. I've been working in between my happenings. Schools and all the other stuff I'm involved in. So,
Yeah.
I bet you've seen a lot of changes in that Wickenburg area since you were a kid.
Oh yeah, Wickenburg was kind of a cool little town because we were kind of out of the kind of a little country town, really. I mean, we weren't far from Phoenix, but we weren't really big town type deal either. So we grew up kind of just country kids, I guess. It wasn't really it was just a cool little town. There was, I think there was 103 kids in my graduating class. So it was a pretty small little community. It was awesome place to grow up for sure.
Cody, I'm curious, when I think of Arizona, I don't think of bull riders. Who did you look up to as a kid, and how did you get into bull riding?
Well, I grew up. We lived all around the state here, but my dad, kind of my bull riding, the way my bull riding started. My grandpa and my dad bought 5 acres in Flagstaff, and they put a rodeo arena on there and a overnight campground, and we had rodeos every weekend during the summer in Flagstaff, and it snows up there in Flagstaff during the winter, so it's not a year-round deal. But we had 30 head of roping steers that we kept there, and so I started getting on steers when I'd got on some calves before that, but I started getting on steers when I was 7 or 8, 9 years old. And those three summers there, I probably got on about 2,500 head of steers, and they were trained to go down to the strip and shoot. So the buck and shoots were right next to the rope and shoots. So everything just jumped and kicked down there to the end of the arena. My dad told me, he said, ride them as close to the end of the arena so you can jump off and go get your rope. You don't have to as far to walk. So anyway, those 3 summers, and I tell this story all the time. People think I'm making stuff up, but I'm not. I'm not. The numbers might not be exactly right, but over those 3 summers, my calculation is somewhere around 2,500 head of steers in 3 years. And so always at those schools, when I'm talking to kids, like, how many do you think I bucked off? And they'd be like 50%, 30%. I'm like, no, if I bucked off of 2%, I would be surprised, because they were just jumping and kicking down the end of the arena. But what happened is I got to ride. I got to learn how to ride and get off on my own terms without getting wiped out. And so my confidence grew, my ability, my ability to ride and understand the movements of animals and stuff. It really, so my point with this is I do a lot of training. I do a lot of teaching. Mm-hmm. And I tell those guys, get on a lot of easy ones. Get on ones that are going to jump and kick. So you learn the basics of riding, the forward movement and the shoulders and stuff. And, the buck and bull industry has kind of tore it up a little bit because there's so many, it's filtered down into the youth deal. So many kids don't ever have a chance like I did. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if my dad's strategy was on purpose or just accidental, but man, that little stint right there of getting on all those steers before I ever got on a bull was just a huge deal in my mind. So anyway, that's kind of part of the story.
Yeah.
I bet growing up doing a nightly rodeo or weekly rodeo there, you've done every single job involved in the sport of rodeo growing up, I bet.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth, man? I every once in a while I'll be helping out and I'll go pick a flank up or something. I'm like, man, back to my roots. That's where it all started. being the little grunt that feeding stock. And I mean, that was the exciting part of, growing up. And, we moved to Oregon for 3 years. My dad drove truck and picked up for Christensen Brothers Rodeo Company. So I got to be around, be around champions that were, rodeo on. I got to be around good livestock, got to be around good people that knew what they were doing. And, there's just so much. I've got a lot of story. Mom and dad really didn't limit us kids. Like they put us in the fire a little bit as far as knowing how to be a cowboy, but at the same time, they took pretty good care of us. So I've got it. I've got my way of looking at things. I think that, I just think the cowboy mentality is a little bit, has disappeared a lot from the deal because there's so many people coming in that weren't cowboys. And, my granddad ran a ranch by the Grand Canyon. So I grew up on a ranch. So I tell guys, if you got a chance to go work on a ranch or something, just go spend some time around cows and all that stuff. Like it's good for what you're trying to do. To be a little bit, have some cowboy in you, right?
Did you get to do was there any junior rodeo stuff available back then, or did you just have to start out right in the open rodeos?
There were some junior rodeos. There was the Arizona Junior Rodeo Association, the Arizona High School Association.
Okay.
And then when I turned 16, my dad was in a roping accident and he was crippled. So if I wanted to ride bulls, I got up in the morning and rode race horses and for a job, and then after school I worked in the buckle shop, and I had a job from the time I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of jobs actually, but and so I started going to the jackpots, and I was riding against grown men, and I would strike every once in a while. I wasn't anything special. I could ride, but nothing special, and I didn't really think of myself as special. I was out there trying to develop my riding and learning more about it, and I would win a little bit every once in a while, but I had a job too, so I had money in my pocket all the time. I think a lot of kids now, I share that story, like, go get a job. If you're go get a job, take care of yourself, sponsor yourself. They talk about sponsors. There was no sponsors back there. I sponsor myself by getting a job.
Right. Well, did you know that you wanted to be a bull rider? I mean, that was your goal, to be a professional bull rider at that time?
Well, from the time I was little bitty, I knew I wanted to be a cowboy. I wanted to rodeo.
Right.
I honestly thought I wanted to be a bareback rider. My uncle was a bareback rider, and he's kind of my hero. And bareback riding was, I spurred everything I could try to spur when I was little. And I went high school rodeoed and junior rodeoed and stuff. And bareback riding was kind of I really wanted to be a bareback rider, but and I filled my permit in the bareback riding. Like I rode pretty good. I made circuit finals a few times and rode broncs too. My bronc riding never developed much, but my bareback riding was okay. And my rookie year, 1985, I was riding all through rough stock, and about the 1st of May, my bull riding was really going good, and my horse riding wasn't providing much. So I left my saddle and my bareback rigging home, and that's when I got in with Lewis Barnes, Cody's uncle.
Yeah, that's my uncle.
Your uncle? Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that's my mom's brother.
So me and Lou, I'll tell you a story about Lou. So I was at the high school finals in 1983 in Douglas, Wyoming. And they had a rodeo dance, and I come bebopping out of the rodeo dance. And, when you're young, you're like, you think you're the king of the world and everybody should know you, right? So I come walking out of the dance, and I just happened to just see a guy punching another guy in the side of the head. Like the guy wasn't even looking at it happen. This guy punches him, kind of earshots him, and then takes off. Well, I run over there to help this guy up. It was just right in front of me, and this guy, he's wanting to beat me up. Well, it was Lou. Somebody punched him in the side of the head, and he's thinking I'm the guy that punched him. And I'm like, whoa, it wasn't me. He goes, if you saw that guy again, would you recognize him? I said, hell yeah, I would. Let's go. Let's go find him. So we hunted all night for this guy that punched Louis. And we never found him, but we became really good friends after that. Like, he's one of my best buddies, and we rodeoed together. When I left Arizona, and when I left the West Coast, that's where I kind of rodeoed in the first part of the year of 85. I went, and Lou and I, we rodeoed together for almost a whole year, the rest of 1985 and half of 1986. So anyway, good times. He had I think it was like I don't even know what year it was, but it was a blue, I don't even know what it was, blue 4-door with we had no air conditioner in there, and we were rodeoing in Kansas and Oklahoma during the middle of the summer. It was windows down, a couple little knuckleheads, but man, what a good time. And my bull riding kept getting better, so I stuck with the bull riding and got rid of it, kind of stayed away from the horse riding part of it. But anyway, me and Lewis had a really good time rodeoing. Really good friend.
You know what he did one time at the house, Jimbo and Cody? No. We had this old feed truck at the house that ran on propane. Mm-hmm. My dad said, let's go out there and fill that feed truck up. We had our own propane tank at the house to fill up from. Mm-hmm. He's sitting there filling it up, and I guess you got to look at a gauge on the big bottle in the back of the truck, see how full it is. Well, he lights a cigarette lighter to check this gauge. blows the truck up. It burns every bit of hair off of his head. His whole head was singed, and lucky he didn't blow up the whole neighborhood. To be honest with you,
Well,
but he was a pretty good bull rider. One year at Cheyenne, he was sitting good to make the finals and broke his pelvis in the middle of the ride. And he still ended up 16th after that. And he won the go-round on the one he broke his pelvis on, but he couldn't get on anymore after that for the rest of the year. It ended up just outside the top 15 that year. So,
yeah, Lewis rode really good. He just kind of – it's one of those deals, like there's so many guys that ride good. There's so many guys that ride good, but they just things don't pan out for him, you know. And he's just one of them guys that there was just so much, you know, so much great opportunity and great talent. It's just so many things went wrong for him, and I hate it for him because he was really a great bull rider that just never all came together for him. And you got to have a little bit of luck. You got to have a little bit of luck along with talent. You know what I'm saying? Like
sure.
He was talented, but he just his luck was kind of on the bad side of luck.
I really think that the era of your major bull riding days, me and Jimbo was talking about it yesterday. We really think it was the golden era of bull riding. Guys like you and Ted Noose and, you know, Lane Frost
Jim
and Tuff
Sharp,
Hedeman and
Charlie Sampson.
I mean,
Ty Murray. You know, it was.
I couldn't name.
Yeah.
I couldn't name, you know, 5 of the top 15 bull riders today outside Wasey and the Australian guy and Stetson, you know. Honestly, I'm just being real honest about it. And I just really feel like, you know, everybody used to stick around till the end of the National Finals Rodeo to watch the bull riding. And until this last year with the big race with Stetson, you know, I felt like a lot of people were leaving, you know, trying to get out of there early. Because they just didn't have the superstars like they did in your era. They all moved on to the PBR now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that. I think bull riding's in a really good place right now. I think that seeing the bunch of kids that are really doing good right now, and then the kids behind them, like there's a great set of kids coming up. And I mean, I do a lot of schools. I see a lot of kids. I talk to a lot of kids. I talk to a lot of parents. I'm interacting with these young guys. I think the scene of bull riding is going to get better. I don't. the PBR. There's a guy named Joe Frost who's Lane's nephew. Joe made the NFR a few times. He probably made PBR finals a few times. Rode really good. Had to quit due to some blood clots or something. But man, he's doing some schools, and him and I have spent a lot of time talking together. And we've gotten involved with this youth program called Next Gen Bull Riders, and so we're helping, and the PBR's gotten behind it. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening for these kids, and basically a training ground to kind of help these kids come up through the ranks and understand bull riding, you know, well, and be taken care of a little bit. I think there was a time that the bull industry, there's no overriding entity that sets the standard for bull riding. Bull riding's just kind of a rogue deal. It's out there. Nobody has, you know, if you have Pop Warner, you have Little League, there's rules, and there's an entity that's over the top of it. And I think that bull riding's never been that way, right? So I think that is now going to happen. And so I think it's good because it's going to take care of some of those kids. I think a lot of kids have gotten thrown under the bus and hurt and get their heart taken away from them from getting wiped out and stuff. And, you know, my era of bull riders, we didn't have the buck and bull bred programs, and everybody develops different, right? I said this, like if the PBR would have been around when I first came along, I might not have made it because I wasn't really that prepared, right? But 1992, I was the best bull rider on the planet, but it was a process. It wasn't an overnight deal, and I think so many people use the standard of the best guy to go off of, right? When you got to be catering to the bottom, the bottom half, right. and take care of those kids, because it's just I feel like that I had to develop. I wasn't that great. I was okay, but I got great over time by the process of getting on a lot and understanding it and growing, maturing, and all that stuff. So I think it's just I think the world of bull riding is in good hands. Really, I think there's a lot of cool stuff fixing to happen. So pretty excited about it.
These young kids you're talking about that you're training, are they aspiring to be PRCA world champions, or are they wanting to go to the PBR, most of them?
Well, I don't get too much into that. Yeah. I think, and the reason why, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what route it doesn't matter what route you take, right? Or sure. what your goal is. As long as you're putting the work in the process, and I think that, I mean, Stetson Wright won. What did he win? 620,000 bull riding. I don't know what the number was, but
big number.
I mean, he won. Yeah. Well, he won. I mean, Wasey Shala won. I don't know. They're two event guys, so I don't even know what. I know Wasey won 780,000 or something riding bulls this year, or riding bulls and bareback horses. So
right.
Rodeo's not a bad place to go, but
no.
the PBR deal. I mean, it's just where you decide you want to go. And I think that the team deal has got some benefits to it, and a little bit, part of it's a little bit downfall in my mind too, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Cody Custer thinks, right? Mm-hmm. All I'm doing is I'm trying to develop these guys and get them to understand the mechanics of bull riding, and then go put the time, put the work in, and develop and grow and mature on your terms, right? And then go, shucks, go win you $500,000 riding bulls. Doesn't matter where you're doing it, right? Right. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's, which 1992, that's 30, what is that, 33 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, something like that, 33.
Dang, a 1992 pickup still don't sound that old. Oh, it's 92? That ain't that old. Holy moly, that's 33 years ago?
Yeah. But so think about this. I set an earnings record in the bull riding for 149,000, some change. Now it takes almost that much to make the finals, which is awesome. But on the other side of that, rodeo should have been where it's at today back in 1992, I think. And just rodeo's been behind the eight ball, but I think it's catching up, and it's cool to see these young guys being able to make a living and leave the sport substantially wealthy with some money to do something with. So
right.
Anyway, it's good. I get on my little soapbox about all this, but man.
Well, I know a bunch of older guys, from your generation. They're just old, crippled, and broke, and it is good to see. Just like you said, these guys, they're going to be able to actually buy a ranch or do something with all that money that they're making. If they're any smart with it. Plus the sponsorship, I would have to assume is pretty big for a big part of these guys anymore. A big supplement on their year.
Right. I don't know, man. I'm pretty opinionated about all kinds of stuff, but when people ask me about sponsorship, I'm like, go ride good. Doesn't matter what, and whatever money you get from a sponsorship, invest it somewhere. That's not money to be put in the gas tank or paid entry fees with. Like, go do something with it down the road.
Right.
Just my opinion.
It's hard to get young people to think that way, though. You know,
Yeah.
I mean that's just a fact. You know.
Yeah. Well, when we're young like that, we're the smartest human on the planet.
Right. I know it. I know it. You rode, talk about that year in 92, but it was the year before that when you rode that bull for 94. What was it? Wolfman?
Wolfman, yes, sir. Yeah.
I remember that ride. It was one of the first times we got to watch the finals on TV or a replay of it or something. And everybody was rooting Cody on that ride in the whole house. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was just in middle school or high school, but holy moly.
Yeah.
And that sucker could spin too.
He was a cool little bull. So the story goes, I got hurt the night before. Bull kind of, I hung up, and bull stomped on me. So I had to go to the hospital, get an x-ray on my, so I was not feeling very good. I kind of had a pull going, got my ankle stepped on. So that day I was like, man, I told my wife at the time that I was, I wasn't going to get on. There was a few bulls in there I wasn't going to get on because I didn't feel very good, but Wolfman was one that I would get on. And sure enough, I had him drawn. So it worked out pretty good. He was just he was a really cool bull. I got on him 3 times, rode him twice, and he bucked me off one time. But anyway, that's kind of my, so the story goes, I rode that bull, got the high mark ride, got to hang out be somebody special, because up to that point, I was just a guy that was there all the time. Nobody paid much attention to Cody Custer. It's just, I was just there at the, pay window a lot, but I was nobody really, kind of. And I remember walking out of there after I got done with my interviews and stuff, and I walked out and I stopped and turned back and looked at the Thomas and Mack, and I knew that day that I would be the world champ when I came back when I left there the next year, I was going to have the gold buckle, and I never doubted it. And I just knew that day. It was kind of one of those deals in your heart. You're like, I knew it. And I walked away going, I'll be the champ when I leave here next year. And sure enough, that was the year I won the world. So kind of a cool little memory. And I don't know, kind of a monumental place in my life. Is like that's the day that I decided I was going to be the champ. And I went to the NFR. I got hurt after that, like 5 years in a row, didn't make the NFR. And then I came back in 98, 99. And I wish I'd have had that same mentality when I came back in those 2 years, because I just kind of came back excited that I made it back and not really there on a mission. Right. So,
that
a lot of minds.
Sorry about
that.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
Nothing. Go on, Cody. I apologize.
Just a lot of mindset stuff that I talk to those kids about having your mindset right. And what are you there for? Why are you doing this? Like, what are you, that's kind of a lot of questions that I helped, I try to help them guys that way too, because the mental part of this deal is huge.
Yeah, it seems like the mental part of bull riding maybe more than any of the rodeo events, seems to me, like just watching it. Because when a guy loses confidence in that bull riding, he can't ride anything. It looks to me like.
Yeah, it's like that in every event, really, Jimbo.
Yeah, but
I mean, the mental side's
just like Wasey this year. He was riding bareback good, and he got in the funk here in the bull riding. He wasn't going to ride anything. There toward the end. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you just, the mental part of the game is as equally important as the physical part of it. And
I can remember when Adriano got in a funk and couldn't ride anything in the PBR. He was the best bull rider on the planet. He got where he just couldn't ride nothing there for a while.
Yeah, that was part of that. Part of that was that the cameras following him around and making him turn him into a big star instead of. I kind of had I had a conversation with him one day and about that. I'm like, dude, you're playing to the camera instead of being the greatest bull rider we've ever seen. And we were pretty close. I was kind of a butt to him about it because he kind of needed to hear the truth. Right. And, it was kind of a little strained conversation, but at the same time, he went from possibly the greatest we've ever seen to almost almost a joke, and I said something to him about it along those lines, and it kind of opened his eyes to. And then he won the world. He actually won the world that year. He was in a big slump, and then he ended up winning the world that year.
Yeah.
So it's good to have people around you that are going to be honest with you and tell you what you need to hear, right? So
a lot of people don't remember that Adriano made the National Finals Rodeo before his PBR days, and he rode 9 out of 10 one year, and he rode 10 out of 10 one year. One of the best.
Well, it wasn't before. Yeah, it wasn't even before his PBR days. It was in the midst of it. But yeah, because he won the world. He won the PBR in 1994. He's our first world champ, right? Then he went to the finals after that in 96, 97, maybe 90, 95, 96. I don't even remember what years it was, but
well, it was before
it was
what
after.
the PBR is today, for sure. No doubt about it. Hey, back to that Wolfman bull you rode. Am I mistaken, or do I remember that they scored that bull in a bull rider somewhere 100 points in a PRCA rodeo?
Yeah, Wade Leslie was 100 points on that bull at Central Point, Oregon. I believe it was in 1992, maybe 1991, maybe. I don't know.
I remember seeing a
it was the year. It was the year. Yeah, it was the year that I rode him at the finals. So it was in 91.
Well, what's the record at the finals? You were 94. Has there been a lot of them more than that at the NFR?
I think there's been a couple of 96s. I don't really. I think Donnie Gay was 96, and no, he might have been 95. I don't know. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Somebody was 96.
Yeah.
Cody Hancock was 96 one year. But
he's from your area, isn't he? He's from that Wickenburg area when he won the world.
He's from eastern Arizona, northeast Arizona.
Gotcha.
Well, that year, 92, what kind of lead did you have coming into the finals? Do you remember?
I don't know. It wasn't much. Back then, I don't know. I had about 80,000 when I came coming in to the finals, and Clint Bronger, Jim Sharp, David Fournier, Huff Heatham, and them guys were all right. I don't really know who was, but I won so that summer I won Salinas, and I went to the lead. I was number one after Salinas was over, and I never lost the lead again. I stayed number one all the way through the end of the deal. So it was kind of one of those deals where I wasn't. They weren't going to beat me, right?
Right.
If I can help it. So it was pretty good. I mean, it was one of those years. I rode over 90% of my bulls that year, and that's, that was one of those deals that the consistency and just staying on really, really consistently, staying on, being able to ride, bulls that were bucking hard. That was a big deal that year. So,
did it mean as much to you as you thought it would, or does it mean more to you now than it did then, or how do you feel about that World Championship?
Well, okay, yeah, that's a good question, because it was kind of expected, right? I knew it. I knew from the time I was a little kid I wanted to be the world champ, and so it really didn't mean as much at the moment as it does now. Like it means a lot more to me now than it did in the moment. But I don't know. I think you go through stages, right? I planned on being a world champion, so it didn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. So it wasn't just it wasn't an overwhelming deal. It was just I knew I was going to be the world champ someday. I win it. It wasn't as special to me as it is now.
Right,
I guess.
Right. I understand.
Because I was doing what I was doing, and part of the whole deal was, providing for my family through riding bulls. And so I wasn't thinking, I mean, it wasn't that huge of a deal. It's just like, I knew I was going to get a gold buckle at some point. So now looking back on it, I wish I'd have had my mind on winning 2 or 3 of them.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Just the mindset. And I've talked to Donnie Gay about that a little bit. Like that's the only thing I regret really is not going back with the mindset that I was going to get a couple more gold buckles, but I was just beat up for so many years, you know, like 5 years in a row. I had the injuries that kept me from going to NFR. I did make the PBR finals those years, with the exception of '97, but I was still riding bulls and making money. But when I made it back in '98, I wasn't there with the intention to be the champ. I was just happy to be back, and it showed my riding. I just kind of rode pretty mediocre that year, 98 and 99. But
Cody, who came
anyway,
up?
just
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you, who came up with the idea of the PBR?
It was a group effort. Hey, that cat is out there, and them dogs are going to go ape here in a second. So maybe put them. Okay, I'm talking about this.
Yes.
But anyway, so the PBR was kind of a group effort type deal, right? We I mean, I've got my story. I got my piece of the story. So everybody's going to have a little bit of different look at it. But
tell us yours.
Here's my look at the whole thing. There's a lot of standalone events that were making good money, and they weren't really adding the money that we felt like we needed to be, have put back to us. And Bull Riders Only was a big deal. There was a handful of other events that were going on that where they might add 10,000, but they're packing these stadiums and kind of using our names to sell the deal. So we kind of went together and formed a collective bargaining group, and I think we missed a few events just to prove our point. And so we really realized that there was power in sticking together. And I think that's the biggest thing that made the PBR work, is we all stuck together. If you were on tour, you couldn't turn out to go to a rodeo. You had to show up at the event, because we were promising the best bull riders on the planet. So, and we're advertising names and stuff. And if, rodeoing, if you show up at rodeo and somebody doesn't have a good bull and they turn out, they just don't show up. But we were using our names and saying we were going to be there. And then we interacted with the fans. We went and signed autographs, and I don't know, we just made it more of a people could come and see
more of a fan
their heroes or whatever without. Yeah. So it was kind of a cool deal. There's a whole lot to the story, and it's a pretty deep story. And I'd like to at some point see everybody who's involved kind of get together and put the pieces of the puzzle together. But it's a pretty cool deal. And I just think everybody stuck together and went and did what we said we were going to do. And we provided what we said we were going to provide, the best bull riders on the planet. And there was a few guys that didn't go that could be put in that, could have been put in that their names should have been part of it, but they weren't. So, I don't know all the ins and outs. Some guys chose not to. Some guys were outsiders. I don't know. It's just kind of one of them deals. I was just riding bulls and trying to make a living for my family, and that's really what we set out to do. Is like, hey, make it better for us. Like we're risking our lives, and we saw that it was going to be something for the future of bull riding. But I don't think any of us saw where it went to.
Right. I was going to ask you if anybody thought it was going to turn into the monster it's turned into.
Well, okay. Here's my opinion. The guys involved in the deal, there's a few guys that talk about how smart we were, and we were if we hadn't this or that. The generation of guys before us, it could have happened to them had all the things fell in place like they did for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We weren't any smarter than that bunch. And the guys that are arrogant enough to say that we're that much smarter are full of themselves or whatever. I was in the right place at the right time along with the rest of the guys. Nobody was any smarter than any other set of guys. It just all happened that everything fell into place at the right time. And we benefited greatly from it. So, however that goes, and somebody wants to beat me up for that, they probably took it too personal. It might be who I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
So all I say is we were in the right place at the right time, and we had a goal to try to make things better for ourselves. It did, and it played out that a bunch of young guys are getting paid really well to be bull riders. So, heck, man, it's an awesome deal.
It sure is.
Something I've been wondering about it, though, is, like if you go to a NASCAR event, you can go buy a T-shirt of your favorite driver or this or that. It doesn't seem to be that way in the PBR. They all don't have their own brand. It doesn't seem like you can't just go buy a Cody Custer T-shirt or a ball cap. When do you think we're going to start seeing more of that?
You want one? You want one? I'll send you one.
Yeah, for
no,
sure.
I'm just kidding.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know that much about the inner workings of the PBR. I mean, it's been so long since I've been part of it. I mean, we did some stuff personally for myself, but I don't know what the PBR. I really don't know how all that works.
Basketball, you can go buy your favorite jersey of your favorite player. Same with football. Same with hockey. I just don't hardly see any of that in the rodeo world. I just don't. It seems like they would be each having their own merch team set up at, in the concourses, but just like the NASCAR guys do. Because it seems like they push the bulls. They sell little plushes of the bulls and T-shirts of some of the superstar bulls, but I just don't see that for the riders personally, or any of the rodeo people, for that matter of fact. It just seems like, they're pushing the PBR. You can buy a PBR T-shirt, but you can't buy a JB Mooney T-shirt at the event. It just I've always wondered that, because I used to work for U.S. Smokeless Tobacco, and I used to have to go to all these PBR events back in the day, and the guys would come sign autographs at booths, but it didn't seem like there was anywhere to get a Justin McBride ball cap or anything like that. Right. Not that I was a big fan of any particular one or the other. It was just an observation I made, that none of these guys have any merch they're selling at these events. It just seems like they could be.
Yeah, I don't know how all that works, honestly. And I never.
Just like at the national finals, you can go buy a national finals ball cap, but you can't buy any, a Stetson Wright T-shirt. Mm-hmm. So, it just has me wondering, why aren't any of these cowboys selling any of their merch, or are they just not allowed to? Possibly, I just don't know.
Oh, I would think they'd have to be allowed to, but that's part of what when the PBR started, that was part of what the Bull Riders Only had some contracts with some guys about owning their name and likeness, and that's why I didn't even participate in the Bull Riders Only the first year because of that. And
they were big events when they first cracked off. It was a real.
Yeah, they were big, but they didn't put up any money.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, sir.
They didn't put up any money. That's
it sounded like a lot of money, but it really wasn't.
Well, right. It paid $10,000 to win one, and then it paid $2,500 for second, and on down the line. So it was not that lucrative. It was good for one guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I totally understand.
And then it was good for the other guy that was putting the bull riding on. So
it sounds a lot like the Cowboy Turtle Association, Jimbo.
Yeah, a little bit.
They got sick of, who was that guy putting on them rodeos back east?
Oh, Colonel. I can't think.
Oh, the Colonel. Yeah.
You hadn't asked me. I don't know.
Yeah, he was just keeping all the money, and
right.
Just giving them
enough to
guaranteed
back
purse
to the next
that was
rodeo
on,
Yeah.
What about safety equipment, Cody? When you first started making the national finals, it doesn't seem like there was anybody at that time wearing a safety vest or helmets very often?
No, I mean, relatively, like pretty much never. I think Charlie Sampson wore a lacrosse helmet when he had broken his face, but that was about.
I remember Cody
about
Lambert
it.
was one of the first guys I remember seeing at the NFR. You know,
Cody who?
Lambert.
Oh, Cody Lambert. Yeah.
Cody Lambert.
Well, so in 1992, that was the first time we saw the vest, and Casey Lambert was a jockey, and Cody's family, they all grew up in the racehorse deal. So these jockeys were they were wearing these Kevlar vests, and so Cody got the idea, and it was after Lane got killed, because that vest, we don't know if it would have changed the outcome or not, but the vest idea was a huge idea. And the first time I rode with one was in 93, and there was no hindrance to my ability to move, and you hit the ground or you get kicked or whatever, it kind of helped. So there was nothing wrong with it. So that's kind of where the vest deal started. The helmet deal, I'm not 100% advocate of helmets being foolproof, because I think as many guys get knocked out with a helmet on as they did before, maybe even more. I don't know, but had Brent Thurman been wearing a helmet, would he still be with us? We don't know. But so that kind of stuff, when you look at it like that, it's like, okay, helmets they're not terrible, but they're not foolproof either. So I don't know. I mean, you see some of those guys riding with no helmets. So that's their business. And the PBRs made it mandatory if you were born after a certain date. But the PRCA has not done that, which I think it's fine. I think it should be left up to the guy, honestly. But
well, it's controversial. I mean, I don't think a guy should have to wear a seatbelt if you don't want to. I mean, you should.
Right.
But if you don't want to, it's your own life. So.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just people, you can't, I don't know that you should mandate any of that kind of stuff on them, but it should be there for the ability to wear. Maybe the vest be mandatory, just because they're definitely not in the way. They don't hinder anything. So, but
yeah, I remember when they first
everybody's
came
got their way of looking at it.
Yeah.
When I was in high school rodeo, I was one of my team roping partner was a kid that rode bulls, and I remember he didn't have a helmet, but he had like a face mask of some sort, like a catcher's face mask.
Yeah.
And he got bucked off one time, and that thing crushed down into his face. So I don't know. I'm glad they got all this safety gear figured out now. I would definitely be wearing safety gear if I'm riding bull leg.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, bull riding is dangerous no matter what you're trying to, whatever safety measures you take. And so, like I talk to kids, like, why are you doing this? Like, are you doing it because you can't live without it? Or are you just doing it because your buddy's doing it, or your mom and dad like it more than, your mom and dad are helping you or whatever? Like, bull riding's kind of a dumb thing to do if you're not 100% all in, right? And that's, I'm being honest about it. Like, It's really not very smart.
It's never
unless you just don't live without it.
I've lived on the once they get too big to rope, I eat them, Cody. Yep. So that's the motto I've lived most of my life on. I did want to be a rodeo clown or a bullfighter growing up, and my dad bought a bunch of these Scottish Highlander bulls to rope at the house because they were cheap, and he cured me of wanting to be one. We lived right on the Arkansas River. The sand was knee deep in our arena, and he put this old barrel right out in the middle of the arena that Buddy Heaton gave me. And he said, "You're fixing to learn how to be a bullfighter today." And he turned one of them Scottish Highlander bulls out. And our arena, no joke, was like maybe 300 foot wide, 500 foot long. It was big. And so he definitely taught me a good lesson that I didn't want to be a bullfighter or a barrel man after that. particular day. But,
Well, your dad, he's smarter than a lot of guys.
he was going to help me
Get
out
it
with
over with.
dreams for sure.
Yeah.
Cody, are you related to General Custer?
I'm a distant cousin, somewhere fifth or sixth cousin. I'm not really exactly sure. There was some the genealogy and all that stuff down the line. So I'm related there somewhere, but I don't know.
Surprised they didn't
I don't
call
know
you
exactly.
that. You know, you were one of the older guys in the PBR, you know, towards the end of it, riding, and surprised I didn't start calling you General Custer on the telecast.
Yeah, them guys, they came up with all kinds of silly things to call you, so I don't know. Surprised they didn't.
Hey, we were talking about the bull riders only just a second ago, and I just wanted to talk about this one time real quick. Literally, the best bull ride, one of the most historic bull rides, just like your Wolfman bull ride. Do you remember that time Scott Bredding rode a bull in, I think it might have been Wichita, Kansas at a bull riders only event? And every jump that sucker took, he two-footed him like he was spurring it, putting his feet out above the point of the shoulders of a saddle bronc horse. I mean, holy moly, that was a good ride.
Yeah, man, there were some great rides back then. I was watching some old videos, some old footage of the bull riders only the other day. Man, really some cool bull rides back then. Just a bunch of gritty guys that, I don't know. There was a bunch of guys that really never made the NFR that were great bull riders. That, I mean, you know, you forget about them. You forget about those guys that rode so good until you watch some of those old videos. So pretty good watching.
Well, Cody, it does look like
watching.
the sport of bull riding's in a good spot, and you helped put it there. So, on behalf of all rodeo cowboys, thank you for what you guys done.
Well, and my deal is I just want to be a piece of the puzzle, right? I don't, you know, there's some of these guys that are training that they take credit for the guys, you know, the guy's success. Well, just be a little piece of the puzzle is what I want to be. I want to be part of their deal, but it's them that does it, right? It's not, all I'm doing is giving them a little bit of help, a little bit of understanding, a little bit of direction or whatever, and they're the ones that go make themselves. So I love that I'm.
Go ahead.
I just like Wacy Shala is a kid that I've poured a lot of time and energy and. Well, not really even that. We're friends, and I've known him since he was a little bitty kid, and just love watching that kid. And he sends me videos all the time. We talk, and I mean, just stuff like that. To be a part of that, part of seeing a guy do good that way, and he's just one of many, you know. But it's kind of cool to see guys have success.
He's going to be exciting to watch the next few years. I'm real excited about him, and I'm happy he's from Oklahoma too.
Yeah, we need. All-around champion from Oklahoma.
Heck yeah.
What's the biggest mistake you see kids making, or that you try to get out of their head when you first start with them?
You talking about just as far as like the riding part of it,
or any part of it?
I just think too much movement. I think there's been a teaching with the free arm moves and all the stuff that really bull riding is basically about riding the shoulders and staying tight to coming back to that place of control. And there's just been too much teaching of free arm movement, and really there shouldn't be a whole lot of free arm movement. There should be good control with your free arm and coming back to a place of athletically being stable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's the foundational part of it is really just coming back to an athletic, a place of integrity in your athletic position. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think too much free arm movement and you know, chasing bulls instead of riding the shoulders. Mm-hmm. There's two shoulders in front of you, and that dictates everything. That's where they have to follow the shoulders, right? So if you get away from riding just the shoulders and start riding turns and chasing the moves instead of just coming back to a place of I'm on top of my opponent, athletically stable, is kind of how I go at it. Like I try to simplify it where it's not too, because it's a mental game, right?
Right.
This is a mental game, and so if you can keep your mental from getting too exhausted trying to, if you keep it simple, it keeps you a little more stable in your discipline. You're not making large moves, not chasing the turns, but basically riding in a stable position. So anybody that really rides horses or anything like that, you realize the shoulders dictate the direction, right? And so they got to follow the shoulders. Same thing's true of a buck and bull. I try to really simplify it, and I mean, I even go to the length of like cut yourself in half, cut the bull in half. Your right side rides your right shoulder, your left side rides your left shoulder. Keep it really simple like that, where you're not worrying about all the moves. You're just riding the two shoulders. So, and I mean that might sound a little bit weird, but put into context of putting it all together, it's really simplifying it is a really good form. So I guess back to the question that you asked, I think making it too complicated is where I see guys are chasing moves instead of just riding and getting to your strongest place every time. And I got a lot of drills that not really a lot of drills. I got pretty much a drill, a series of drills that if you get that stuff down pat, I think you got it handled. You can go do something with the sport. So
I know you rode 2,500 head of roping steers down the arena. How much do you contribute to your racehorse days, to your success in bull riding?
Well, I've ridden horses since I was little, so the racehorse part of it, I mean, I didn't. It was a brief time. It was a couple of years of riding racehorses, but I never jockeyed or anything like that. I just breezed them. But yeah, I mean, just being a cowboy, being around it, I've ridden horses since I was a little bitty kid. So I think all that contributes to my success. And I see a lot of kids that come and don't really have any rodeo background, and so they're a little bit at a little bit of a disadvantage, but because I think the kids that ride horses and grow up around it and all that kind of stuff, cowboyish, I think they have a little bit of an advantage, but
might be grit.
Yeah,
might be just knowing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
A lot of feel too.
Yeah.
Cody, when did you know it was time to hang it up, and how hard was it?
Well, I remember I was 38 when I quit riding. So I remember I started that year out. That was in 2003, and heck, I was winning second in the world after the first couple of events, and we got to Fort Worth, and it was a bloodbath, man. They wiped everybody out that night. Well, I broke it's called transverse process. It's the wings kind of on your vertebrae and in your back and your neck. I broke that, or maybe a couple of them off. Bull ran over me. So broken neck. I call it a broken neck, but it's not on the terms of some of these other guys that have broken their necks. But anyway, basically I had to take a couple months off and heal up on that deal. Well, I came back and got first bull riding. I came back maybe second high guy in the short go, and got bull jerked me down in the chute and split my eye open, and had to get my eye put back together, and got on him. He bucked me off. And then the next bull riding, I got hurt my elbow. It's just, I was an old guy. Mm-hmm. I could still ride, but it's just hard to tell when it was. But I remember being at Nampa, Idaho, and I just remember thinking about my kids while I was pulling my rope, and wishing I was with my kids. And that night after it was over, I realized I was didn't love it like I did at one point. So that's when I when I realized, and that was 2003.
Yeah.
I finished the year off and got to go to the PBR finals another time, but just, yeah, you gotta be all in. You gotta have that, like be willing to die for it, right? That's what I mean, that's a little bit harsh, but it's the truth. If you're not willing to die for it, it's really not worth doing.
Try till you die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the guys that did die doing it, because that's not a good thing. I mean, it's not good, but I'm just telling you, like, it's bull riding's damn sure we're not playing marbles, right? We're into as deep as you can possibly be, because we've seen guys that, we've seen it with our own eyes, guys who lost their lives over it. So it's not a plaything, and you better be willing to pay the price if you're gonna, if you're gonna do it. So,
Cody,
so that's when I quit. I quit.
Well.
I quit. I quit putting myself in that position.
Yeah. Cody, talk about your ministry work a little bit. Does that incorporate into your schools, or is that something totally different?
Oh yeah. It's funny. It's funny you say that. I went for a lot of years and we had an organized ministry with the PBR and involved with the PBR. It wasn't with the PBR, but Pro Bull Riding Outreach, and we did a lot of cool stuff. We met a lot of really cool people. Did church services at the events and stuff. And so I kind of pushed away from all that for a while, just because I felt like I wasn't really in a good place. So basically, I don't really have any kind of ministry other than just my life.
Okay.
And at this point, right now, like I speak at a few events and all that stuff. But I'm just being honest with where I'm at. And I've had some failures. I've lived some. My life was a fairy tale life until my son got killed. My oldest boy got killed in 2011 in a car wreck at college, and so really, I didn't realize I didn't have a good understanding of struggle. I had some struggles. My brother got killed shortly after that, a few years after that, and then my dad passed away, and it took me down a really, really rugged road there for a while, and my marriage ended during that period of time, and I mean, just had some self-inflicted bad stuff happen to me, and so I've been being pretty open about it. Like I'm a born again Christian. I'm a believer. I love people. I love God. Am I perfect? The heck no, not by a long shot. But I do feel like my life has value for people around me, and then people I meet have value for my life. And so I'm not. I guess just if you want to talk about where I'm at right now with it is like, yeah, I love life. I love people. I've been recently just trying to protect my peace and get my peace to being back where it's at, because I took a path that took me away from peace for a while. And so I've really been just working on my own peace, but I'm open and share with people like, hey, I caused some problems in my life by not staying centered. So let's go back to bull riding, right? You ride the center of the bull, right?
Mm-hmm.
You come back to that every time. That's your foundation. That's where so the same thing's true with our life. I got away from center for a while, back to center, working on my peace, working on being full of the Spirit and walking it out. I'm not perfect. I don't get it right. It's funny. I had today's January 3rd. I was driving yesterday, and I put on Facebook. I said I had one New Year's resolution, and it took me 2 days to fail in it. It was road rage.
Yeah.
The road rage.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I've got a story that has some good, has some bad, but it always comes back to that place of being in center. So, I love people at my schools. I share with kids. We pray. Here's something I always try to do is, like, those kids, we'll pray before the session, and then afterwards I'm like, hey, make sure to remind me that we need to thank the Lord after we ask a lot, but sometimes we don't thank him, right?
Right.
So I kind of do it on purpose, just kind of just have somebody remind me, and then I'll say, well, who wants to pray? Somebody want to thank the Lord for a good session? So basically it's just getting them involved without it being a pressure type deal.
Right.
And, I mean, I love people. I love the Lord. I'm thankful for his grace. Thankful for his provision and all that stuff. But I've made some huge mistakes in life, and if I don't use those huge mistakes to help other people, then they weren't really worth it. So that's kind of where I'm at with my ministry. I love. So if you call it a ministry, I'm not a preacher or anything like that. I'm a guy. I've preached some, but I don't think I'm a very good preacher. It's kind of like my team roping. I'm a team roper, but I'm not a very good one.
Who is
but
the
I
best
still do
bull
it
rider that
sometimes.
ropes? Who's the best roping bull rider out there?
Man, I don't.
Besides Phil Line.
Mike White is a bad cat, but I mean, there's Guillermo Marchi. He's bad to the bone roper. I don't know, man. There's a whole bunch of those guys that rope good. Charlie Sampson, he ropes pretty good. He's not by far what Mike White is. Mike White's a horse trainer. Like he trains a lot of roping horses and ropes on them and goes and wins on them. So I'm going to say probably Mike White would be the.
I think he puts on some ropings too. He's all about.
I'm sure he probably does. Yeah.
Josh Frost ropes pretty good too. I think.
Does he?
Yeah, I think so.
Josh calf roper more than I think he ropes. Right. I think he ropes calves and yeah. They say, I mean, there's a bunch of those there's a bunch of them bull riders that rope pretty good. I think one of those, I don't know, I'd be lying if I said maybe Tristan Hutchins or one of them young guys that roped really good apparently, but I don't know. I don't rope very good. I rope good enough to justify entering every once in a while, but I sold my horse the other day and I'm happy about it because I hate losing.
Yeah.
But part of that is just not being disciplined, not having the time to rope every day. If you're gonna compete against those guys that really do it every day, you've got to do it too, or you're just added money. It's just like bull riding. I mean, there's real bull riders, and then there's guys that enter. And I'd just soon not be a guy that just enters. I'd like to be a real roper, but I just don't have time for it. So
right.
So I sold my horse.
You think we'll ever see a rough stock rider make the finals roping ever again, Jimbo?
Oh, I don't know. It seems like everything's so specialized now.
They're going to have a hard time doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, they're limited. They can only go to 80 rodeos, so why wouldn't there? I mean, there should be a guy. There should be somebody. I would think. Like the time event deals, you got 80. I don't know what the rough stock is, but
yeah, I hadn't kept up through the years on the rodeo count. But heck if I know.
It'd be cool to see a guy like Josh Frost or somebody like that go in two events, but who knows who's coming up, right? There's a bunch of kids coming up that we don't know what's going to happen, man. I think we got some great stuff ahead of us. I'm pretty excited about all these young guys. So,
yep.
Well, we're definitely seeing a new era of kids that were homeschooled and they focused on rodeo. You know, they're really breaking through right now. So we're going to see a great era of great cowboys coming up.
I'm excited about it. Yes, sir.
Cody, I can't let you go without putting you on the spot a little bit. If you was making a Mount Rushmore of bull riders, who would you put on it? Need 4 names.
Oh gosh, man, that's you really putting me on the.
I know it.
So how do you? I mean, how do you really? It's like like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. They're
Right.
two.
I know.
It's hard for me to say, but I mean, okay. So if I really had to look at it and just say, probably the most unpaid. They didn't pay attention to this guy as much. He's 2-time world champ, but Justin McBride is, in my mind, is as good as there ever was.
He was
Jim Sharp's always going to be my era, the guy, right? He was, everything was easy. Everything, he was boring. He was boring. He was freaking boring. Like there was nothing exciting about watching him, except he just never bucked off and he could ride anything. So, so Jim Sharp, S. McBride, man, I don't know. That's kind of what, do you put Donnie Gay on there for winning 8 gold buckles, or do you put Sage Kimzey? I mean, Sage Kimzey's the Jim Sharp of this, this era, as far as the consistency. And so, I don't know. Justin McBride.
We got Justin and Jim.
Jim Sharp.
Jim Sharp.
Yep.
Sage Kimzey.
Okay.
J.B. Mooney.
Okay. Well, that's not a bad bunch.
I like.
I don't know. I mean, it's that's one thing. Who do you put? You put JB.
Yeah, it's hard.
Jim
It's
Sharp.
hard.
I mean, Donnie Gay. You put Jim Shoulders. Jim Shoulders would have kicked butt in this era.
Harry Tompkins.
Yeah,
Tough-headed man.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, just who
Lane
do you?
Frost. What about Lane Frost? He could have been on there.
Yeah, might have been.
Who do you choose? That's the problem. I mean, that's the whole deal.
I mean, everybody has trouble when you ask, for sure.
Usually they'll come up with 2 or 3, and then they always have trouble with that last one.
Most time.
Well, and then you got what about Jose Vitor Leme? Has anybody ever been better than that guy? It's hard to say. What about Jeff Lockwood? The 2 years he won the world, there's nobody better than that.
Yeah.
It's hard to. You can take a little. I mean, you take me. I had that great year, rode 90% of my bulls, but guess what? Sage Kimzey had 7 of those years. So, how do you? Jim Sharp had that
George
every
Paul?
time you.
Yeah.
What about George Paul? He could have been on there.
Who knows? That's the thing. Nobody saw him. There's no documented. It'd be just like Jim Shoulders. He would be great in this era, right? Yeah. Because he'd put in whatever it took to be great. So that's a whole loaded deal.
Yeah, tough.
I mean, it's like Donnie says, who likes blondes, who likes redheads.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to who's looking, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know.
Speaking of George Paul, what was that bull riding like back in the early days of it, the very early days?
It was awesome. Which I never went. First year I went was 86, maybe. I don't think I even went in 85, but 85, 86, whatever. It was wild. It was just a big party down there. There was down there on the Mexican border, and a lot of guys went across into Mexico, and it was a big party. Great bull riding, bunch of really good bull riders, really good bulls.
It almost seems like it was the start of the big bull riding jackpots. I mean, I wonder if the PBR took or the bull riders only, or any of those deals kind of took note of that bull riding down there. Just one.
Yeah, I mean, it was one that was a standalone, and there was, it was probably the first standalone bull ride, really.
It seemed like, it's the biggest standalone at the time, the most prestigious standalone at the time. I know standalones were popping out, everywhere. Every town had standalones popping up, but
Well, Mac Altizer and that company, they did some standalone events. There was one in San Angelo that was a huge bull riding, and I mean, there was quite a few of those standalone bull ridings that came along. But I think maybe George Paul was, the George Paul was probably possibly the first.
Seems like the granddaddy of invitational bull ridings. But
yeah.
Anyway,
heck yeah.
Just wondering. Just wondering. I always wanted to go down there when I was a kid.
You'd have been.
It was fun.
I'd have been in a Mexican jail before the end of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we went water skiing there. First time I went, we went water skiing the day after the bull riding, and we had more fun water skiing than we did the bull riding. So,
well, we sure appreciate you, Cody. We did talk about your school. How do people find out your schedule on your schools if anyone's interested in sending their?
Man, I've got Cody Custer bull riding clinics on Instagram, and then just my personal Facebook. I don't really. I just kind of keep things updated on there. I'm working on some other stuff where it'll be easier to find, but I don't even have a website for my bull riding. So if you look me up on Facebook or Instagram, you can kind of find my schedule on there. But I'm doing considerably less of them than I have in the past. The next year or two, so it's got a lot of other things going on. Got some nonprofit events or some nonprofit organizations I'm involved with that I'm going to try to put a lot of effort into to help raise some money and help people. So kind of backing up a little bit, but next gen rodeo is the youth association or the youth organization we're involved with, and that's also affiliated with the PBR and Joe Frost bull riding school. So I'll be doing some stuff with those guys too. So pretty excited to see what's going to happen coming up.
You going to go down to that Hondo rodeo while you're out there?
Yeah, the Hondo, I think it just happened in, was it October or something like that?
I think it's next week, isn't it? I heard some people. No, that's in San Diego, not Phoenix. I'm sorry. That one's in San Diego.
Oh, yeah, San Diego's coming up.
I was thinking about the Phoenix one, so.
Yeah,
anyway.
No, San Diego is coming up here before too long, yeah.
Well, Cody, we sure appreciate you
coming. I probably won't be at San Diego. I got a bull riding school in Phoenix this weekend, and then I'll be in Texas the following weekend. So, but yeah, hey, thanks for having me. Always fun to get to talk about things, and I mean, look, it's just my opinion, and my opinion only goes so far. And, so all the things I talk about, I try not to rub people the wrong way. I'm pretty opinionated, but at the same time, everybody's got their direction, their way to do things. So I'm pretty supportive of other people and like to listen to other people's stories. So, anyway, thanks for having me on. Thanks for including me in the Cowboys of the Osage. Is that what you?
That's the name of it.
Call it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I sure appreciate it. And Cody, just so you know, your uncle Lewis made a big impact on my life. We had a lot of good conversations. Good man. He loved the Lord, and he was a little rugged, just like the rest of us. But like things were good. Things were good with him as far as his relationship with the Lord and stuff. So we had a lot of conversations in the last couple of years of his life. So pretty excited about who he was, because we were pretty wild when we were young. But yeah,
well, there's nothing wrong with that. So
yeah.
Well, thank you, Cody, and thank you for those words. That meant a lot to my family. I'm going to be sure to pass that on to my mom. So,
yeah, you betcha. Well, thanks for having me involved, and I appreciate you guys a whole bunch.
Well, thank you, Cody. I'll give you a shout when this thing comes out, so you can listen to it, or your family.
Yes, sir. That'd be awesome.
You get to Pawhuska, get over and see us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will.
All
What's funny is I was in Pawhuska not too long ago.
Well,
next time my girlfriend's family lives right there. So.
Oh, well, I have a store right downtown called Buck and Flamingo, and we have this museum over here, the Ben Johnson Museum. So come see us.
Be sure and
holler. Oh, heck yeah. We'll do that. God bless you.
All right. You too, Cody.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ooh, that's a good one, Jimbo.
That's one of the best ones, I think.
I really feel like it was. What a great guy. What a great champion. What a great
outlook on life.
Person for young folks to learn from. So
yeah, I know it. I was really pleased with that podcast.
All right, everyone. Be sure to get over here, see the museum, buy some turquoise so we can keep the museum open. And
right. That's what feeds the Bulldogs. So.
We'll see you the first and third Thursday every month with a new episode. Catch y'all later.
Later.